Thank you guys for joining me today on Instinctive Addiction Archery. I'm Jeff Phillips. Got another good one here for you today. As always, I hope and pray you will find helpful that there will be something in this video that will give you an edge with your traditional journey. All right, guys, so you say, all right, Jeff, what you got going on today? Well, let me just tell you. I wanted to bring you this video, guys, to show you the importance of building the perfect arrow. And I mean, when you get your arrows right, when you get a bear shaft to tune really good out of your bow, when you get that beautiful flight out of whatever bow you're shooting, then you're ready to shoot broadheads. Okay, so that's what everybody's doing right now, sort of getting ready for the hunting season, starting to play with broadheads, figuring out what kind of setup they're going to do. Well, I'm going to give you two examples today. Two different bows, two different setups, same brand arrow, but complete different builds that I'm running on these bows this year for hunting. And they are the most perfect flight you will ever see out of a traditional bow. I don't believe you can get any better. The Gold Tip Warrior. Economy priced arrows that are just tough as nails and absolutely shoot like just bullets. I mean, these arrows are great. Okay, so let me explain what I got going on here today, guys. I have an old battle 58-inch longbow that Jonathan Adams built me. And I am drawing, this bow is 46 at 28. I draw this bow 44 pounds, okay? So I have two bows shooting 44 pounds each, a recurve and a longbow, identical pounds. But I shoot different arrows out of them, all right? You say, well, why? Because every bow is nature different. You can't just assume that one bow is gonna shoot the exact arrow that another one does to perfection. And I mean perfection, guys. So it's how the shelf is cut, it's how the power stroke in the limbs at your draw length. Everything's a factor. How much point weight you're running, what type of arrow you have. All these things come into play. All right, I tested everything out of this bow, and it will shoot a multitude of arrows, it will. But the most beautiful flight that I was able to achieve was with a 600 spine. Now, yeah, it sounds light, right? I thought so too. But you know what? I go with what shoots the best. 600 spine with 300 grains on the front. I have 100 grain brass inserts in these, 200 grain heads. These arrows are absolute bullets out of this bow. They are the most beautiful flight I can get, okay? My recurve, same pounds. I'm shooting a 500, and both sets of arrows are identically built other than the spine. I have 600s and I have 500s, all cut 28 inches. Running 300 grains on the front, and they both are tuned to absolute perfection. So I'm going to shoot this, guys. I'm going to show you some slow motion video of what you really want to achieve in a hunting arrow. The most perfect flight that you possibly can get with a broadhead setup. And bear in mind, it's windy out here today, but that's why I shoot heavier FOC, because the wind just does not affect it like it does a light arrow, light point weight arrow. In other words, my total weight on this is still close to 500 grains. I'm good, doesn't matter, it's plenty. Pushing 300 grains on the front, this arrow is going to penetrate with a sharp two-blade head. It's going to, there's no question about it whatsoever. So I'm going to launch this arrow, and I want you guys to watch it really close here. And hopefully you will see exactly what I'm talking about for the perfect traditional arrow flight. Okay, guys, that was the broadhead. I'm going to shoot a field tip right beside it. Same build, 200 grain field tips, 100 grain inserts. Same build, same arrows. These things hit exactly where a field tip hits. The field tips and the broadheads have no difference at all. And that's what you're going to find with a really good arrow build. You're going to find that you don't have a variance in your point of impact with the broadhead versus your field tip when the arrow is tuned. In other words, it's not steering on the front, it's not trying to outsteer the fletchings, so you just don't have those issues. But if your arrow is out of tune, there is not a broadhead on the planet. There's just not one made that is going to hit identically where a field tip's going to. It's not. That's why it is so critical to get beautiful flight of your arrows, get beautiful flight out of your arrows before you go to shooting broadheads. Okay, it's really, really critical, guys. You got to do that. So I'm going to shoot this and show you what's up. Field tip. Right there beside it. Right beside it. Boom. So there's no impact. There's no high left, high right, low right. There's no steering going on. They are hitting identical. Okay, so now I'm going to pull these. I'm going to shoot the recurve with a 500 spine, 300 grains on the front, 200 grain head with a 100 grain insert. Same exact build, same poundage bow, but the recurve limbs have more power stroke than a longbow does. Therefore, they will shoot a heavier spine. If your bow is cut more to center, it will shoot a heavier spine. Okay, these are the factors that you have to figure out with your own bow. Okay, you got to know this stuff to know what to go with. There's no one size fits all formula. Now, generally, yes, I could shoot a 500 out of this bow very easily, running it maybe 1 inch longer, because it would weaken up enough to tune. Okay, I could do that, but I didn't want to run a longer arrow. I like my 28-inch length. I just, that's what I like. I'm not really looking at the arrow, but I don't even like longer arrows in my quiver, no longer than I have to have them, okay? Because I'm not aiming with the arrow. Now, with that being said, yes, you can make the same spine work out of multiple bows. You can, but it's going to be determined by how long that arrow is and how much flex it's got. So let me grab these, and we're going to shoot the recurve right quick. All right, guys, so here we are. Another pair of warriors. Different color fletchings because I like these to be close but a little different, so I'll put black ones on this. But as you see, 500 spine. The others were 600. Cut 28 inches, 300 grains on the front, both arrows. I'm gonna shoot them out of the recurve. We'll shoot. Matter of fact, tell you what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna shoot the broadhead first, because if it hits this arrow, it's gonna destroy it. Could happen. So I'm gonna do a slow motion of the broadhead first. So that was your slow motion of the 500 spine out of the recurve. Now I'm going to shoot with a broadhead. Now I'm going to shoot the field tip. Identical setup, 300 grains on the front to show you the impact is no different. As long as I can put it in there. Right there. Right there beside them. That's what I'm saying, guys. When they're tuned, they're tuned. There's no difference. In other words, it really doesn't matter what broadhead you shoot. It really doesn't make any difference at all. As long as it spins true, it's going to fly true. If that arrow is leaving the bow and getting on its path instantly straight, okay? It's going to have paradox, but it's going to recover very quick. I shared in some other videos, guys, the importance of a bare shaft tune. Why do you bare shaft tune your bow to begin with? What's the need for it? Well, I'll tell you, because you can take a regular arrow, field tipped arrow with feathers, shoot it, the flight looks great. Out in your yard, flight looks great, looks fine. I mean, man, you don't see any kick, any wobble, anything going on. You screw a broadhead on, and all of a sudden it's impacting this far from where you're looking, and you think, well, maybe that's me. Maybe I pulled a bad shot. No, not always the case. Shoot it a few more times, and you're gonna see. Pick you up a field tip, shoot it. Pick the broadhead up, shoot it. You're gonna see a difference. You're gonna be like, well, why is my broadhead not hitting where my field tip is? I mean, not ever. Why does it not group with it? It's because your arrow's out of tune. It's because you didn't go through the bare shaft tuning process. You didn't get a raw bare shaft with a field tip flying out of your bow to start with, flying and hitting that target straight at least 20 yards. 15 at a bare minimum. I mean, bare minimum 15-yard bare shaft test, because you got to give the arrow time to see what it's going to do. Tail left, tail right, tail high, tail low, whatever it is. You got to get that thing hitting a good medium like this bona fide target or a block or something like that. No bag targets, something flat, dense, that's not going to lie to you, that you can see exactly where you have impact if your arrow is hitting the target straight. Okay, it's got to be doing that. So once you get that achieved, then with confidence, you can screw a broadhead on and expect it to fly just like your field tips, guys. So that is the tip for today. Make your broadheads fly like they should by first bare shaft tuning your arrows, guys. And listen, 300 grains on the front of an arrow, even a light grain per inch arrow like these, 7.3 grains per inch, running 300 grains on the front will get the job done and give you really good trajectory, really good speed, lots of penetration. It's like a dart, guys. Look at the FOC on this thing. It's not overkill. I don't get a tail high knock reading. And if you do put too much on the front of an arrow, guess what? Your bare shaft's going to be knock high every time. If you're getting knock high readings, sometimes you just need to back off your point weight a little bit, or shorten your arrow, or go up a spine. That's what it is. When it's leaving the bow, it's just naturally kicking tail high because you're overloaded on the front. So 300 to 320 is about my max that I try to run. I don't do the 400 grain up front plus stuff on very many arrows unless they're extremely stiff arrows. It's the only ones that I'll do it on, guys, even out of bows in the mid 40s. So anyhow, I hope you've enjoyed this, guys. I hope it's been helpful to you. But I wanted to show you what I have achieved with these gold tip warriors in a hunting setup that I'm more than confident taking to the woods. Thank you guys for joining me on Instinctive Addiction Archery. I'm Jeff Phillips. I love you guys. Praise the good Lord in heaven for everything that he does for us. He's so good all the time. He is so good. He loves us so much. And guys, I just could never, ever, ever tell you what he has done in my life. Day in and day out. He's my best friend. He's my savior. I love him, and I can never do enough to repay what he's done for me. Never, ever could. But I love him, and I'll be with him forever. Till next time, guys, goodbye.